So in this video, we'll be building a wheel with a 3-cross lacing pattern. I'm using Sapim race 286mm spokes. Before building, I always mark a reference point and I use the valve hole as my reference. So I just add a piece of tape and over the valve hole, and from there I start the build. For step 1, you need your hub and you insert one spoke into the flange of the hub. So now we will be fastening our spoke to the rim. As you can see, I first start off at my marked point. You skip one hole and insert it into the second hole. Now we will add the rest of the spokes. It is very important to add each spoke to every second hole. We will then fasten the spokes to the rim. It is here important that you count 3 holes and then add a spoke. I don't fasten the nipples all the way, I leave a little bit of thread. Once all spokes have been fastened to the rim, we will then turn over the rim and repeat this first step. So we will add all the spokes to every second hole and fasten them as well. When lacing the second set of spokes, we want to add them just to the right of the first set. So right next to the spokes that you just laced, you just move one hole to the right and there you can insert this new set of spokes. Once all spokes have been fastened to the rim, we will leave it as is and then insert spokes to the bottom flange. Now we can go ahead and carefully flip the wheel over, and at this point all spokes should be on the top side of the hub. From this point we will rotate our hub in a clockwise direction. The next step can be a bit tricky. You can take any spoke. I just try to use the one which will be closest to the reference point. From here we are going to cross 3 spokes. So it's always important to count and make sure your spoke which you have selected crosses 3 spokes. We will cross the first one, the second one, Then go underneath the third one, skip one hole, and then insert the spoke into the following hole. Once all remaining spokes have been inserted, we will then again flip the wheel over, and the inserted spokes will now be on the top side of the hub. From here, we will again follow the 3 cross rule. So you take one spoke, you cross 2, go under the third, and then insert the spoke. And then we can insert our wheel into our truing stand. I just have an old one, well, not an old one, but one which I built out of wood. From this point, I will be fastening the nipples with my fingers and trying to get each nipple fastened until it is at the last thread of the spoke. Of course, the nipples are still loose, and that's why we will now take our tool and fasten each nipple 4 half rotations. Once I've fastened each spoke 4 half rotations, I will repeat this process, but this time I will only be doing 2 half rotations. Now we are at the last phase of the build. After you have squeezed the spokes, I will now turn them 1 half turn. And then we will check to see if the wheel runs true, and this is also where we will make minor adjustments depending on how the wheel turns. Here we have 2 examples. The first one is where my wheel runs true and I don't have to make any adjustments, and the second one, you can clearly see the wheel isn't running straight. If your wheel is not running true, you kind of have to isolate the spokes that are the problem. So my finger I will be referring to as the inside side, and that's where the wheel made contact to my toothpick, and that's why I will be fastening the outside side, which will pull the wheel away from the toothpick. So you always have to fasten the opposite side, which is making contact, but it can also mean that you have to fasten the inside side. If you feel your wheel is running straight, then you're finished.